We're going to get going in just 1 minute. I'm just letting a couple more folks get connected to audio, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you. Okay, looks like we're all connected. So I want to make sure I give our presenters plenty of time today. So is the recording on, Ava? Yep, looks like the recording's on. Awesome, thank you. So welcome everyone. My name is Abel Young. I am the Community Services Director here at the University of Arizona, Sonoran Center for Excellence in Disabilities. And thank you for joining today's webinar. So before we get started, I have just a couple of housekeeping items to run through. First, for today's session, we do have live captions generously provided by the University of Arizona's Disability Resource Center. To activate captions, click on the Show Captions button at the bottom of your screen, and then the captions will appear. Throughout today's session, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to use the chat or the raise hand function here in Zoom. If you wish to share verbally, make sure you raise your hand, and then either Gina or myself will make sure that we, call on you and acknowledge your questions so that they're all answered. We'll also be monitoring chat to make sure that all questions that go through chat get answered. If you have any technical issues, I know there's some things being put in chat now, but go ahead and message that Sonoran Center person here in the room, and then Ava can go ahead and help you with any kind of issues that may be popping up. And then finally, on behalf of the Sonoran Center, I would like to read the university's land acknowledgement statement. We respectfully acknowledge that the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of Indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to O'odham and Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and Indigenous communities through educational offerings, partnerships, and community service. Now, for today's session, we continue our Advancing Employment webinar series. I know I see many returning faces, so thank you all if you've been attending these sessions, throughout the last few months. The last 4 sessions we've had really focused on the state's vocational rehabilitation program and the way they work with different organizations around the state. Today, we kind of, shift topics a little bit. We've got some great presenters from the World Institute on Disability, Nicholas Love and Gina Griffiths, and I'll let them introduce themselves in just a second. But they're going to be sharing some very valuable information on disability benefits and how those could potentially be affected by work and what the realities of that truly looks like. So Nicholas and Gina, I'll let you guys take it over.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and just hit slideshow. There we go. So my name is Nicholas Love. I am the Director of Community Inclusion at the World Institute on Disability. The World Institute on Disability is in our 40th year. We are one of the first organizations that was founded and continually led by people with disabilities. We were founded by the mother and father of independent living, Judy Heumann and Ed Roberts, as well as Joan Leanne. And the World Institute on Disability, one of our biggest projects that we work on is Disability Benefits 101, so AZDB 101 in Arizona. I'm going to provide some additional information a little bit, but I'd like Gina, could you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Gina Griffiths, and I am the Assistant Director of Community Inclusion at the World Institute on Disability, or WID. And ping me in the chat if you have questions as we go. Nicholas is going to do the talking, but let me know if I can help and get questions answered. Thanks.
Thank you, Gina. So let me give you a couple disclaimers to start. we are not going to be able to answer any specific questions. So if you're like, hey, this is what's happening with my social security or my son's, or how do I qualify? We cannot answer those questions since everyone is individualized and we do not have full information. We will, though, provide you the information to find that resources and individual help that we're unable to provide today. And all the information, most of the information, but all of it that's important to you is going to be within Arizona DB 101. And we are making sure that you realize that the numbers in the PowerPoint currently. Okay, we're having a question about getting the recording of it for someone, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. It will be posted on the website. Fabulous. I just want to make sure people realize that the dollar amounts in there are the dollar amounts for this year, and they do change on a regular basis. Gina and I work at the World Institute on Disability, but we are still in Arizona. This is where we have done our career in disability. And we have both been boots on the ground individuals providing services, as well as being directors and managers of services. And now what Gina and I focus on is system change and provider transformation. We deal with policy on a global basis, but our home and our heart are still in Arizona. So we take great pride in providing Arizona DB 101, which has been funded by vocational rehab. So just want to make sure we acknowledge vocational rehab paid for the development and ongoing maintenance of DB 101. So thank you. Today, what we're hoping is that your takeaway is this: from whatever you learn or believe, know this: people with disabilities have a right to work, a right to save, and as to live as they choose while maintaining their health care and their supports. And most people believe that going to work, there are still so many myths, will cause people to lose their health care. That is just a straight out myth in Arizona, and I'm going to provide you information about why. But we want to make sure people know that as an employment first state, which Arizona is, which believes that all individuals with disabilities have the ability to work and should have the choice to have employment be their daily activity. So what we're going to do today is we're going to, reinforce that messaging by providing you digital tools and information all in one place. We're going to get rid of the fear. The fear is the main reason why individuals who receive benefits do not go to work, for fear of losing their cash benefits and fear of losing their health care. But there's also a fear of providers of sharing information, being fearful that they will provide wrong information for a skill that not a lot of people are very skilled at, which is understanding how work and benefits actually do go together. So we're going to help ease those fears of everyone, including providers. We're going to empower everyone to be able to have the same equitable access to the information so that individuals can make informed decisions that lead to a more financially productive life. Can't make an informed decision about what you want and how you want to live your life if you have wrong information. So we're going to use DB 101 to work through those myths. And what we're going to be working on is moving my Zoom pictures out of the way that are being frustrated. Sorry. DB 101, Arizona Benefits, Disability Benefits 101 is a user-friendly tool. It's just so much in one place. It's Arizona specific. It's a website available to anyone with internet access to help people with disabilities work through those myths and confusion about Social Security benefits, healthcare, employment, and so much more. And it's an easy to use, intuitive online tool that is fully mobile responsive, available on any type of device. It is there to provide accurate information and resources. So a lot of times people are being given wrong information or partial information. We are national experts to be able to make sure that you have accurate information when you want it 24/7, 365. So there's no need to be an expert or even go find an expert to have the same high level information. It is not there to replace benefit counselors not there to make people an expert. It's there so that everybody has equitable access to the information. It's easy to use, provided in layers in multiple places so that you don't have to go, where is the one place? It's going to be available in multiple places, so easy to find. No personal identifying information. So it's a safe place to go check out what's going to happen without fear of losing benefits or upsetting Social Security. There are estimators that are throughout to be able to help people put in scenarios of either a current job or a potential job, or even just a make-believe job, to be able to know exactly what's going to happen to your benefits. But it's not just the estimators. There's a lot of content around it that then supports the information and shares so that we have full information for community inclusion. And throughout, there's access to local, state, and national help. But it's not just benefits. Arizona DB 101 covers so much. Anytime that we talk about a program, being SSI, SSDI, food stamps, housing, there's going to be the eligibility and the application link or directly on DB 101. There's a lot of information about the supports, where to get support for employment, resources, how to connect with vocational rehab, one-stop centers, etc. Interest inventories, a whole bunch of stuff about employment supports, healthcare, and we'll go through all the different healthcare options. There's information about education, what to do with secondary education, how to pay for school, how to fill out a Pell Grant, how to fill out scholarship applications, how to use disability resource centers, information on trust funds, information on asset buildings, how to save, how to be able to have $100,000 in an Enable account. And because we were founded by the founders of independent living, there's independent living philosophy throughout, very much embedded throughout, but particularly in the youth and the parents section. There's a whole section just for youth, a whole section for parents to understand the complexity, and throughout resources, links, organizations, and programs. In DB 101, there's several sections. This is high level. I'm going to very quickly go over this because I'm going to go into DB 101. You will be able to have this PowerPoint, so you'll be able to have some information. It's basically a guideline. We have a section about how work and benefits go together. So learning about how to make work part of your plan, learning about saving money. There's also sections on cash and health benefits. So we'll go through all the cash benefits, health coverage that's available. And again, a section particularly for young people and their parents. And then within DB 101, the main thing people want to know is what's going to happen to your income and benefits if you go to work. So there are 3 estimators in Arizona DB 101. The first one is the benefit and work estimator, which is for individuals over the age of 18, but not in for retirement yet, who receive SSI and or SSDI benefits. There's also a school and work estimator for young people under the age of 18, in school or not in school. They will tell you what would happen to benefits. These are young people receiving SSI. There's also an access freedom to work estimator, which shows the eligibility and possible premiums for Medicaid buy-in. And there's also a quick little SSI and SSDI that I'll show you as well. What I want to go over very quickly, just so that we have some general information, is the difference between SSI and SSDI. So I'm going to start with SSI. The majority of people receiving services in Arizona are receiving SSI. That is a means-tested program, which means it's for people who don't have the means, the money to pay for food and shelter. So it's for people with little or no work history. It's based on one's financial needs. So how much money someone receives is based on how much they need for their housing. So if somebody's helping pay their bill, it will be less. If they're married, it's going to be less. So depending on their living situation and their financial need. The maximum an individual is going to receive of SSI benefits for an individual is $914. For a couple, it's $1,371. And there's a resource limit of only $2,000 for an individual. That $2,000 resource limit also pertains to if anybody has resources over $2,000, they will not even qualify for benefits. So I'm going to tell you how to go around this $2,000 limit. when someone receives SSI, supplemental security income, supplementing the income they don't have for food and shelter, they're going to receive Medicaid. And that Medicaid is going to continue as long as they're SSI eligible, not connected to how much they get for the check, but their eligibility. The eligibility for SSI is based not on an individual youth, it is based on their parent or guardian's income and resources. So if a family has resources over $2,000 or even 2 cars, their youth, no matter how significant the disability, will not qualify for supplemental security income. When someone has supplemental security income, supplementing the income, they don't have food and shelter, they have a need for financial aid. If they have a need for financial aid, they get Medicaid, and that Medicaid will continue as long as they're eligible. They will usually have more money going to work. I say usually because if you have dependents, it could vary. But if you're an individual without benefits, then you're going to be better off, period. Question came in asking about the difference between blind and other SSI. So blind is the only disability that has different rules. So if somebody has SSI and are blind, rules that change for them is how much they can use in an impairment related work expenses, which is what people pay out of their pocket to go to work due to the disability. So it could be for a copay, it could be for medical equipment, it could be for prescriptions. And for someone who is blind, it's pretty much anything they need for work, not just due to their disability. They have what's called blind work expenses, and that section's within DB 101. And I'll show you. I will talk about SSI and blind in a moment. So when I say you usually have more money, this is why. For every $2 someone earns in their work, they receive one of their SSI checks or one of their SSI dollars. Let me try that whole sentence again. For every $2 they earn from their job, they get to keep $1 of their SSI cash benefits. So eventually, if one earns enough, their SSI check will go to 0. By that time, they're making twice as much money, and their SSI, they're still eligible, and their Medicaid continues. And again, that impairment work expenses allows for deductions on what people need to go to work. So it's about a 50% reduction of what Social Security would consider countable income. Also, if somebody is on SSI and they're under the age of 22 and going to school on a regular basis, they can earn up to $2,220 gross a month and not lose 1 penny of their SSI check, nor will they lose anything about their health care, SNAP, etc. There's an annual cap of $8,950 for that. And once that cap is reached, it goes back to that 2-for-1 for reduction. For every $2 you earn, you get to keep $1 of your SSI check. So, but if you're on SSI and under age 22 and going to school, you don't lose a penny. That's SSI. Now, SSDI is a completely different program and therefore has different rules. SSDI is Social Security Disability Insurance. It is social insurance. It is based on the work history and the amount that's paid in the system. So how much people receive for their cash benefits will be based on work history and amount paid into the system, either by themselves or a retired or deceased spouse or parent. So your FICA that you have in your paycheck, your FICA is actually your premium for your social insurance. And you're paying that premium on a regular basis if you work to be able to use your SSDI when you become retired or if you become fully disabled prior to. Because there is no need to show financial aid. It is not about the need for aid. It is about the ability to work at a certain level. It's because there's no financial need for aid. The individual get Social Security doesn't care about the financial needs, and because Social Security doesn't care, you get Medicare. That's how I always remember. So you've paid into the system, you've paid your fair share. If you paid your fair share, Social Security don't care, you get Medicare. So you're going to either receive your cash benefits or not based on the different earnings and different phases of the work. And of course, there's different roles at each phase. In DB 101, I'll show you those. When you have SSDI and go to work, you can keep your Medicare up to 8 years after your cash benefits stop. So really, really helpful with the Medicare. That's basically SSDI. Now, healthcare is the main thing that people worry about. Access is our Medicaid in Arizona. And so that access continues to work. If you have access and you go to work, your access continues as long as you're eligible. But if your SSI check goes to zero due to work earnings, because for every $2 you earn, you kept one, check goes to zero, your access will continue through a program called 1619B. Yes, there's an annual limit of earnings. Yet, that doesn't mean one must reduce their hours or quit their job to keep their access. So many people, particularly those in the individual and developmental disability world, are told, reduce your hours, quit your job, you're going to lose your services or even your housing. That is not a true statement, period. Because if somebody earns above the income limit for access, they can actually buy into Medicaid, which is our Access Freedom Work. Access Freedom Work allows individuals to buy into Medicaid, either people on SSI and those on SSDI. So you can actually have your Medicare and your Medicaid, and you're going to pay no more than $35 a month. You can for earnings over about around $70,000 a year and pay no more than $35 a month. Of course, you can still get private healthcare and healthcare through healthcare.gov, private healthcare. So you can actually have employer healthcare, Medicare, and Medicaid all at the same time. Is SSDI considered income if you're receiving SSI? It's not considered, it's considered unearned income, and they will look at the SSDI first, and then they will look at your SSI payments. When you receive SSI, though, you are paying into the system. I'm sorry, when you go to work, when you receive SSI, you are paying into the system and therefore could actually go from SSI to SSI and SSDI. For individuals, I forgot to mention, who are blind, on SSDI, there's a different threshold for what is considered substantial gainful activity. And that is the difference for individuals who are blind. All of this is just basic information. I want to get into the DB 101 to show you all of this very much laid out. Other ways to be able to save money for people on SSI or very low SSDI is called a plan to achieve self-support, which allows individuals to set aside income or resources to achieve a specific work or educational goal without affecting their benefits. So you make a plan, you're say you want to get some assistive technology, you want to buy a tablet to be able to help organize your workflow, and you need that because part of your disability is about organization. You can make a plan to use for education, for going to school, for getting that technology, for even starting your own business. So it's a past plan, money is set aside, that money is not considered income. The other way is about achieving a better life experience or an ABLE account. An ABLE account can allow you to save up to $100,000 without it being counted as resources. So when individuals think they can only have $2,000, that's not true. You can have $100,000 in savings with an ABLE account. An ABLE account can be used for somebody who is on SSI and SSDI, and even those who don't receive benefits. One could even self-certify, open an ABLE account to be able to put their resources in so that they can then apply for SSI, and they will not have that $2,000 resources they're looking at. To open up an ABLE account, you must have a disability onset before the age of 26. You don't have to open an account in Arizona. You can open in other accounts. It's a really great way to help save money. You're not alone in any of this stuff. All the information I gave you is going to be in DB 101. I'm going to show you where it is. I'm also going to let you know that there are trained benefit counselors that are there to help through the navigation of DB 101, answer general questions, provide information resources, and can get your free benefit counseling if you're ready to go to work or a youth or veteran. By simply clicking this blue button, I'm going to show you in DB 101, that will lead you to, so you're never alone. So let me go into, didn't need to do that. Let me go into ending this real quick. I'm going to go into DB 101. Okay. I know that was a lot and I talk really fast. And that is because I don't expect you to remember everything I just said, because I'm going to show you. So this is Arizona DB 101. Log it out. You do not have to register to use DB 101, but for providers, we recommend registering, simply putting an email, password, and the organization that you work with. Individuals themselves, they can always say they're, none of the providers, right? If you're using it as a professional, we want you to click the Arizona Service Professional so that you have access to the Vault, which is a great tool that we may or may not be able to get into today, depending on time. So then if you're registered, you simply sign in, put in your email address, password. And what happens is you actually get more tools. You get access to the Vault, which allows for different planning, organization, and coordination. But you also can save your favorite articles that you've done and your favorite sessions. Going back to the home page real quick. At the top above the search bar, you can change the whole site into Spanish with a simple click of the button and back to English. So very easy to utilize this back and forth. Michael, I'm so glad you're here. And thank you, Michael, for the Arizona DD Planning Council support of DB 101 all these years. We have the top work and benefits. Here's work and benefits section. Programs we have down here, youth and my DB 101. We pulled out 3 articles, but we also have additional articles that are throughout. And I'll come back to those in just a moment. We then have the three benefit and work estimators, school and work estimators, and access free to work estimators. We then get into cash and health programs. I've pulled out 3 articles, finding right healthcare coverage for you, SSI and SSDI. We'll come back. And we have the youth section, again, pulling out 3 articles and full youth section. And there's some videos. And we just have added 2 new videos. So we have a video tutorial on how, just a high level of DB 101. We also then have how to utilize your account in the Vault, as well as benefit and work estimator. Thank you, Medicaid Access, for paying for that update. All right. What I want to do is I want to take you into the programs very quickly. So the question is, do any of these tools work for people about other states? No. These are Arizona specific. If you used Arizona tools in another state, you could basically really have a problem. Arizona is not the only state with DB 101. There are 11 states, and you can see those by clicking where it says Arizona at the top. But you want to be in the state that you are in, because each state has different rules for Medicaid, different resources. Don't want to mess that up. Okay, so we're going to go in the cash and health pro. We have the benefit estimator at the top again. We have what benefits do I get? SSI, SSDI, long-term disability, short-term and long-term disability, housing, cash assistance, and nutritional assistance. We also then have all the programs for healthcare, finding right healthcare coverage for you, access for people with disabilities. People can receive access due to income, not just their disability. So with or without disabilities, and for those who receive it because of their disability. Access free in work is the Medicaid buy-in, Medicare, employer-sponsored healthcare, and how to buy healthcare on healthcare.gov. I'm going to go into SSI very quickly. All our sections are created the same. They start with a basic, an overview information. Then we go into the eligibility and application. So as you can see here, here's how to apply for SSI. It takes you to, if you're under the age of 18, where to go. How to apply gives you the information, phone numbers. Here's the online application. And we also provide, let's expand this, getting your application ready. So we'll be able to show all the different documentation, which was one of the main reasons that people are denied. We also go into what other programs people want to look into while they're waiting. We have how to understand the decisions from Social Security, how to report your changes, everything from Social Security. You could do it online, you can do it on a phone app, you could do it through My Social Security, a lot of different ways to report. How to determine what a disability is according to Social Security, resource limits, how they count their SSI benefit, SSI income and resources. And then we go into SSI and work. Each section also has examples, frequently asked questions, pitfalls, and next steps. Let's go into SSI and work. So when I talked about explaining SSI, this is where you're going to find that information. How the rules for SSI means that your benefits don't go down as much as your earnings go up. That's that 2-for-1 reduction, right? Not everything is counted, like impairment-related work expenses. So they explain what they are, give you a tool to be able to estimate them. Here's the blind work expenses, which is basically for anything. And there's a form for reporting your blind work expenses right there. Here's information about the student earned income that I talked about, which if you're under age 22, right, can earn up to $2,220 a month gross, up to an annual $8,950 without losing a penny. Here's a little bit about ABLE accounts. You can go into the article and get deeper information on it. Here's also information on the past plans. And again, you can go into that article and get more information. So let's just look real quick at the past plan. We have what the eligibility is again, right? We have all this, we have samples, we have everything you need to be able to set up a past plan. We also have information about the Ticket to Work program. So finding an EN that can provide training or job coaching. And what if you need your SSI again? And then what are the rules for SSI? So here are the healthcare rules. Here's the 1619B. For every $2 you earn, you get to keep one. Your check eventually goes to zero. You keep your benefits. You keep your Medicaid, I mean. Freedom to work, that Medicaid buy-in, and healthcare options. I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to do what is a quick SSI work estimator. This will give you kind of a clue of how the larger estimator works. So let's say someone receives the full benefit of SSI full benefit right now of $914. They're not blind, but if you say yes, it will do all different math for you. If you're under the age of 22 and you say yes, you're going to get different information. It's going to ask if you're in school half-time or not. If you've worked, it's going to ask those questions. If you say no, you don't have to answer those questions. Let's look at a future calculation of a job. So let's say somebody's going to get a job for, let's give a good paying job, $15 an hour. And let's say, no tips, and let's say they're going to work 25 hours. Now, this isn't about minimum wage. This is about helping people understand. This is if you needed impairment rate work expenses, we're doing it easier. And now I can show you very easily. In this snapshot, you have more income. This is what you have today. You have your 914. You go to work, you're going to earn $1,631.25. Your SSI check will be reduced to $267.88, bringing you up to $1,899. You're making twice as much money and still are connected to your SSI. and you still have free access. And if you need more help, you can contact the work incentive consultant right there, or just click that button, gives you the same information. So quick way of doing it, you can also go into do a full session, but this is a great way to get past those myths. It kind of gives you an idea. So I did earlier, for sake of time, I did a session for someone receiving SSI and SSDI, receiving food stamps, and having them going to work full-time at $15 an hour. We're able to show your money goes up, you have more, you're better off in this plan. We hover over, we're able to see their nutritional assistance, their SSI, and their SSDI. Going to work, we're able to see their income of 2,610. We're also able to see their SSI and their nutritional assistance, which is 0. As they continue through the different phases of work for SSDI, eventually their whole check will go to 0 for SSDI. But if I told somebody SSI, SSDI, and food stamps are all going to 0, you should go to work, you're going to get a lot of pushback. But I can show you that somebody is making about $1,500 more. And not only did they keep their Medicare and their Medicaid, they now also have health care through their employer. So they actually gained health care options. It then explains the bottom line and suggests maybe an ABLE account. I click there, it's going to give me information about what an ABLE account is. And then it gives you next steps. It starts talking about substantial gainful activity, which is when you move into extended period eligibility. You can click that and find out what it is. Right? And they show you the difference between when it's blind and non-blind. Yes, Gina.
There's a question in the chat.
Okay. Merits based on scholarships. I cannot answer a specific question. Scholarships could be paid in multiple ways. Usually if a scholarship is paid directly to the school, it is not considered income, but if it's paid to the individual, it is considered income. But again, each, depending on where the scholarship and information came from. So I cannot provide that directly. That would be a question you would want to make sure that you would work with a benefit counselor to be able to help with that question and understand your particular scholarships. It says here about looking at the timeline. What we have is we have a timeline monthly recap. So if we went into the timeline, what it does is it explains any significant changes over the next 5 years. I'm able to see the trial work periods where an individual who is receiving SSDI can make as much money as they want. And it is triggered by a earnings of $970. Okay, that's last year. My bad. 1,050 for 2023, but we have them listed out for the previous years. So it explains all those too. But if you want to go in and go, okay, well, why is my SSI 0? What is happening? Click into anytime, takes you into the monthly. It'll show you a breakdown even further, including taxes. But you can see why my cash benefits the way they are. Anything that's blue in the estimator, you can click on that and drill down into the number. So why is my SSI 0? The accountable income is too high to get SSI. How did you figure out what is accountable income? They went in, they said you got $500 SSDI, no long-term disability. Here's your earned income. It explains everything as you go down. So it's really, really easy. You can go more into your earned income and see how we figure out the $15 and how that salary, gross salary was figured out. You can share these with anyone. You can print a PDF of them. Really, really helpful. That's the estimator. I want to quickly go into my DB 101 and I want to show you, I did also a schooling work estimator where I was able to go in show that it's better off, able to show that if a youth goes to school and then gets a job, $10, 10 hours a week at minimum wage, they're going to be earning $602. They receive their SSI here of $235 and here $235. They don't lose a penny. Plus, there are now 3 times as much money. They still keep their health care. It gives you the breakdowns. And the next steps in the youth, I love because it really supports youth going to school and work. Talks about your healthcare options, what happens to your cash benefits, what happens when you turn 18, what if you plan to go to school and like, okay, wait, I want to know more about going to school. I click here. I'm in the get a higher education section to be able to explain that. Going into the home real quick again. Will benefit counselors meet with you by phone, virtually, or both? Yes. Can you set up an appointment to meet? Yes, you can. You can reach a benefit counselor by simply clicking the blue button. You can then call them. This would be the work incentive planning and assistance for, thank you, Gina, for Ability 360, who covers benefit and counseling for the full state. They have 3 benefit counselors, which means you need some people to kind of support you on some of this. Also, you have the Access Freedom to Work. Going back into MyDB 101, did a very quick session on that. Very easy to use. Answer a couple questions. I was able to see, yes, I qualify. It appears I qualify for Access Freedom to Work. This is a job at $25 an hour full time. And the individual has to pay no more than $35 a month. It tells you how to sign up, how to get all the information. Going back to my home very quickly. I'm going to go into all programs. I'm going to show you the SSDI is set up extremely the same way. If you don't know what benefits you get, what benefits I get will help you understand and get paperwork from Social Security called My Benefit Plan Inquiry, or create an online account for My Social Security. We also have Find the Right Healthcare Coverage for You, which is a great tool. And I will come back to that question, but I'll text in 1 second. I'm going to say let's say we have a family that has earnings of 40,000, 3 people in the family, answer a couple questions, and then we can see the options that are available for this family. So they can go and get kids care, which shows what the income limit is for a family of 3. So it's very exactly what's happening. Here's the Access Freedom to Work. Let's say they want to learn more about Medicare. I can click in there, get into the Medicare section, which will cover how to sign up, everything, explaining those. Again, that's in the health section. Here are all those programs. So Access Freedom to Work is for individuals who are working to be able to buy into Medicaid. And I want to simply show you, going to like the frequently asked questions, great way to find information. I love the fact that it says this is really confusing. Where can I get help? I click that. Here's all the information of where I can get help, right? Where do I sign up? Here's all that information. What's the difference between Access and Access Freedom to Work? So Access, you only pay a small copay for medical services. And you can go in that article and learn more about, but Access Freedom to Work, you're going to pay a copay for people who can earn up to $6,160 a month. So it's when you have over that payment and you're like, well, what is that? You know, how much is the income limit? You can click here. There's no resource limit. Sorry, I meant to go here. Accountable income. Thank you. And it'll start explaining, but just clicking around and getting the information. I'm going to the home page. And I want to bring you very quickly because I wanted to be able to take some questions. Please start asking any questions if you have them right now. How work and benefits go together. It shows programs that support work. So we're going to show you the Ticket to Work program. Work incentives, again, remember the duplication. Here are the SSDI work incentives, the rules that help people go to work. And those SSI ones, same things that were in the breakouts to help. Learning about vocational rehab, one-stop centers, all of that's in there. But we also have Finding the Right Job for You, which allows individuals to go through and maybe do some interest inventory, find things, talk about reasonable accommodations, how to get the reasonable accommodations, how to connect to jobs that connect to your support of your interest. We can also go in and learn more about your rights, learn more directly about job supports. Let's say if I went into the next steps here, next steps show you a breakdown of some of the information that was in the article and some additional links so we can learn about job accommodations through the Job Accommodation Network, where you can go in and just check out what is your disability, gives you some suggestions of accommodations, and then you can figure out which ones you have to pay for and which one others might have to. Information on childcare. We don't necessarily have how to pay for childcare, but we do have information about making sure that you think of childcare. I don't think there's anything that specifically has assistance right now for childcare, but there are programs that will talk to you. Do you have to disclose a disability? You never have to disclose a disability. It is your right to choose whether or not you disclose your disability. All I did is click disclose disabilities. It is only if you need support and assistance. What are the benefits of disclosing a disability? How much to disclose? What are the responsibilities of the employer? What about what confidentiality, right? There's a decision-making tree. Yesterday was the 33rd year anniversary. Yes, Gina.
I was helping you find the word anniversary.
Thank you. Yes, yesterday, the 33rd anniversary of the day. Thank you. Support that. All right. You also can get managing your benefits while working will break down. How will it affect my SSI? Again, smaller bites of that huge article, but it's everything you still want. So here's like ABLE account. I want to learn more about ABLE accounts. I'm in the ABLE account. So I can find information several different ways, talking about how to have that $100,000. And if you go to work, you can even contribute more money on an annual basis. And those are within building your health, wealth, and assets. You can learn about the ABLE accounts, past plans. You can learn about home ownership and even starting your own business. So a lot of information, and this is right in the work benefits. So you can, how to save money. All of these take you directly into that same area. If you go down even further, you're going to have a couple other tools to support you. In the work and benefits, getting past the myth has some of the major myths, like maybe about losing the health care. You can learn here a little scenario, learn information, and then break it down again. So again, so many ways to be able to get to the same information in different ways, in different bites. I'm going to go into the youth, young people. We have the school and work estimated there again. Benefits for young people, so explaining the key programs and the eligibility of these programs. Start planning now. I think it's great for anyone who is moving to independence, no matter what the age. I'll show you where the tutorials are in just a second. But you can start planning now, learning to understand yourself, learning to live on your own, managing personal care assistants, including how to pay for them, finding them, ensuring those relationships. youth. We can even, here's the higher education. So the different types of schoolings, application process, funding your education, your rights and accommodations for higher education. And going to work, some articles, and then for parents, there's specific information about how benefits and work go together for a young person, how a job plus SSI means more work, how access covers people who work with a disability, how your child can save money, how your child can stay connected to SSI. We also then have making work part of a plan, work is possible, what happens when someone turns 18, and then managing those benefits. Tutorial videos on the homepage. There are 3 very quick tutorial videos. One is on a general overview of DB 101. The other one is how to use your account, which is the DB 101 here login, as well as how to use the vault. And we have one on how to use the benefit work estimator, which was the one that I showed the results of here. We also, for providers, we have 9 trainings that are offered a year, paid for by Vocational Rehab. Our next training is the 10th of August. There are 3 seats still open for that. And the next one is then September 10th. And we'll have one for each month till the end of the year. If you're interested in how to sign up for those, are being on the distribution list for notices when they come up, please email Gina. Gina's going to put her email into the chat right now, as she already has. We are down to just a few minutes, and there is the training that I'm talking about is a 3-hour training, and we are still unable to cover everything. So this is very high level. What we basically wanted you to know is that DB 101 exists, that it can help you answer your questions, that you can go to work, and you don't have to worry about losing your health care because there are means. And the question that came up about access freedom work with an all-tax health plan. People who receive all-tax Arizona long-term care, if they earn above the resource limit that would cause them to lose their access normally, they are supposed to, and I say supposed to, sorry, go directly into access freedom to work. So it's not only does it work together, it's supposed to work together automatically. Since it doesn't always work automatically, all one has to do is say, I need to apply for access freedom to work. And you can learn about that by simply going into all the programs, right? What are all the programs? We want to know about access freedom to work. How to sign up. Here's your application. Here's everything you need to know. How to keep your access. Phone numbers, the basics, everything's there for you. Do we have any questions that are coming in, since we have about 6 minutes and I want to make sure I have ability to answer questions instead of just poking around frantically on a website for you? Feel free to unmute yourself if you choose, or put it in the chat box.
Really quickly, Nicholas, I'm going to jump in just and give people a chance to type questions if they want to. Before folks start to leave, because I know we're running out of time, there's going to be a link put into the chat here in just a second. It's our evaluation link for this webinar today. Please take a few minutes and evaluate the webinar. It helps us continue to improve on how we offer webinars and maybe identify future topics and content that could benefit you all. So before you leave, if you can take just a second and respond to that, I would greatly appreciate it. And now I'll let you guys get back to your questions.
Where will the recording be for this webinar? Where will it be located?
Hi, Jody. So we post all of those onto our website. I believe they're also sent out via email to our listserv, but Ava, if you could confirm that for me, that I'm not making that up in my head, that would be great. I will say real quick, getting everything prepared to post on our website right now, it's taking about 2 or 3 weeks. So doesn't post immediately, takes a couple of weeks, but then it's up there.
So in the meantime, while you're, I would offer the opportunity to just go play with DB 101. Go in and just poke around, do a search. Child care was the question that came up. Yes, whoever is attending will receive the recording. Thank you for that confirmation. So we have a whole bunch of different things. These are exactly within Arizona DB 101. So you can go in and you can find out, if you're getting benefits for your child, what's going to happen. So a lot of these will be able to pull up, find that information for you and be able to move forward. Where are the job exploration tools? I'm assuming when you're saying job exploration is like the assessments and whatnot. What it is in the benefit. Sorry, gosh, got to move people out of the way so I can see what I'm saying. In the work and benefit section, which is the very first panel, finding the right job for you. So going through what kind of job is right for you. Those are a lot of those exploration tools. But there are other places to look at exploration as well, right? Knowing that rights and responsibilities, going to work. For the young people, there's a whole one about working, finding a job, right? So there's choosing whether to work, how to find for a job, how to even apply for a job, understanding FICA, those kind of things. The main point of this is just letting people know, play, go in. The information is there 24/7. It is accurate. Again, there is so much in here that you cannot possibly get all the information once. Michael wants to know who the primary user. It's absolutely everyone, as Abel just said. Anyone who has access to it, they can go in, they can use it. As a parent, 2 a.m, you're like, oh my God, my kid's turning 18. What do I do? As an individual with a disability, you want to learn how to save money. As a provider, you want to make sure that you have the right resources and information. Please go into DB 101. Throughout, you notice that there is a circle following us, right? This circle at the bottom will lead you to additional help. So if you want some more help, you want to understand DB 101 a little more in depth, the benefit counselors at Ability 360 are funded to be able to answer any questions on DB 101, to be able to answer support, and we'll be able to connect you directly to benefit counselors. But let's make sure we are empowered and utilize the information we have available to us before we stress out 3 individuals who are serving over 200,000 individuals receiving benefits in Arizona. So I offer you just go in, check it out, play. It's really amazing. Michael loves this tool. In fact, the DD Planning Council is the one who started providing the trainings on this originally when I was working in Ability 360. So I just want to show you that quickly. You can just, this is what it's going to look on your phone. Everything is there for you. Please use the site. We appreciate it. And I'm going to stop now.
Thank you, Nicholas and Gina, very much for joining us today. I know we're at time, and I want to respect everybody's time, but just a quick update for you all on the next 2 sessions that are coming. We'll continue to host these on the 4th Thursday of every month. So next month in August, we've got a session talking about braided funding specific for transition services. So for youth, how schools and vocational rehabilitation can kind of work together and braid those services and funding to benefit students. And then the following month in September, we're going to have a session talking about our tribal vocational rehabilitation programs and how they serve individuals around the state that qualify. So hopefully I'll see you back in those next 2 months. Thank you, everybody.